What's up with this Skibbity Ohio no Riz hell on earth? Alrighty, what is quacking, everybody? I'm back from Riptide 2024. This Riptide was fantastic. It's been great. I had a huge, wonderful blast, and I'm gonna go over all the wonderful things that happened at this Riptide because my feet went viral. I'll get back to that a little bit later. But this was a fantastic Riptide. I feel like I got to do and explore a lot more things this Riptide because last year just felt like meeting people for the first time and in a new environment for myself as a person, and really enjoyed walking around and just experiencing everything. This year I was like, how big can I make my massive group? And it was pretty big. I'm so glad I have a lot of friends and a lot of people I can talk to, and it was a great and enjoyable time. And I showed up early. Everyone should show up early, for the love of God. If you have the funds for it, show up early. It's so nice to actually be able to do things because unlike, me who got unlucky, I had to play at 6 p.m. on the days I was playing, which absolutely kills your dinner time. So like if you have friends who play at different times than you, guess who's not having dinner together? You and your friends. So I had to play super late, which sucked, and that cut into my dinner plans. But good thing I showed up early. And just like last year, actually last year I went to the water park in the overnight thing. This year I didn't go to the water park at all. So need to show up another day early so I can go to the water park. So yeah, show up early if you have the funds. It does wonders. I got to, spend a whole day traveling, and then Thursday was so nice, just chilling out, not doing anything. I got to hang out with my friends who showed up early, so it was a blast. But then you get to the days that you have to play, and this year I was locked the fuck in. I was ready for this year because last week I made a video dogging on myself for how terrible I was, and then I went on to win a bracket. And then this year I went on to actually place 33rd in the entire tournament. So that was a huge step up from the previous year where I placed last because I won 0 games. I won nothing. I didn't even win a single game and or set. Nothing. 0 wins last year to 33rd. So that was a huge step up. And honestly, I might need to talk more trash about myself so that way I can go on to actually win some things. And there's probably footage behind me of me playing my sets on stage because that was also the first thing I got to do is play my sets on stage. So, yeah, it was great. I was locked in, but it was very nerve-wracking to say the least because I was ready this year. Last year, I think I was just too tired and too like socially exhausted to really care. This year, I was very locked in and ready. Like I tried to go take a nap before my games. That didn't work out too well. I was just thinking about like everything, and I want to just get up and like play opens or something on my Switch and just like stay warm. But and like all the adrenaline was pumping through me, but then like it left me and I could take a nap finally. And then I only woke up like 30 to 45 minutes later, like, oh my god, is my set ready? And I woke up way earlier than I wanted to, and I just laid in bed with like, adrenaline pumping through me, just like trying to, psych myself up. And then I was just like, walking down to the venue and just like waiting around because they were running late on Friday. I was like, man, it'd be a real shame if they're like, yep, go play on stage. And then sure enough, Kraken calls everybody over. We're all standing around, calls my team. I'm like, right here. They're like, you're on stage. I'm like, son of a bitch. So that like added a lot more, fuel to the fire of, the nerves. But me and my team, we did well. Me and my good friends, we all, we went 3-0 on stage, and then we went 3-0 again in our next match. And then, unfortunately, got knocked into redemption by my good friend Akame, who her team went on to place ninth. Very proud of them, but they knocked us into redemption. And then the next day, it was kind of more or less the same, just trying to, eat some breakfast, vibe out, really focus on the game. And then our very first game was just an intense, game five scenario, and we ended up barely losing against Rainfall. And then we just went through and tore through losers, and then unfortunately had to play Rainfall again. And I was, I was so ready for it, and we took him to game 5 again, and oh my god, that game 5 was the most tragic game 5 I've ever had to play in a tournament series ever. So our game 5 was Humpback Rainmaker, and originally on the first set we played against Rainfall in winners for Redemption, we beat them on that pretty handily. Kind of, I think. Might have been close. Don't remember. I just know we beat them. So we're like, oh, let's just do it again, and then we get to play, day 3, make top 32. Um, the game went so fast and we fumbled so hard. We wiped twice and it was just kind of over. And the second wipe was an unfortunate one. And the game was just full of, lots of fumbles. I managed to get behind them at one point and they, didn't really register that I was behind them. And I proceeded to miss all of my shots like I typically do and throw the game. It was honestly a very tragic misfortune event. We just couldn't keep it together, unfortunately. It definitely felt like it was a battle of the nerves for sure. Like I don't think I've ever felt something that intense in any tournament set ever. Like even trying to get to finals and gold brackets of tournaments, like I've never felt something that intense. So like it was a battle of the nerves and really trying. I just like my hands were shaky, and unfortunately like it didn't help that this team like locked in at that moment. So it was just like, they were very good, and it was kind of like we just all kind of fumbled, unfortunately. And the thing that decided the game was they brought the Rainmaker to our plat, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is fine." And we killed the Rainmaker, and obviously there was like 3.5 minutes left in the game, so there was plenty of time for us to make a comeback. One of them reef slid like past the Rainmaker, because I think we killed, this is why I wish LAN had a recording feature or something, like a recorder of games. But so what happened, I think, is when we killed the Rainmaker, the bubble didn't pop up as their Dapple's reef slid. And normally when the Rainmaker bubble pops up, it'll stop a lot of things. I think because the bubble didn't pop up in a certain amount of time, they slid past the Rainmaker, reef slid, and killed all of us, and it was a wipe. And it was just they just got to free win the game. And that game 5 was not even like a game 5. It was such a quick game, and it was a heartbreaking game. But I am very proud of everything that we did, and I'm proud of myself for actually, bringing it together for once instead of sucking all the time. So it's nice to win. We went 4-3, lost to the same team twice, and made 33rd. So hopefully next year we'll make top 32. So with my losses, on my shoulder, and me, being upset that we lost, and it's okay, and reflecting on my losses, Sunday rolls around, the big game day, the great game day. So I just kind of chilled out and, did a lot of different things. I don't show my face here, but I went to watch Melee because I enjoy Melee. I would show the picture here, but, I don't show my face like that. So I took a picture with Zane, who ended up going on to win Melee Riptide. So I'm watching Melee, grands, and he wins. And the only way I can describe this picture to you that I took 2 days prior, I believe on Friday, or maybe I took it Saturday, took it on one of these days. I took a picture with him. I was not smiling. He was happy to meet me. His smile was so big. If I'll probably edit the photo and show it here. He was so happy. He was just very happy to meet me. I felt like he was my number one fan, honestly. And then he went on to win, Melee, the entire Melee bracket. And I was like sitting in the audience. I'm like, that's my number one fan, because apparently, he's happy to meet me. That's my number one fan winning. So it was very cool to sit and actually watch, in-person Melee again. It's always a great, vibe, and it's nice. It's cool to watch it on YouTube, but it's just I always have that need to skip ahead sometimes, where it's just oh, I just want to see the last game, see what people do. But when you're there in person, you're like, what's gonna happen? I can't skip ahead in the video. What's gonna happen? So it was pretty cool. Zane handily beat Cody though 3-0 in finals. I believe it was 3-0. And then I went on to just watch a bunch of Splatoon. And I also took lots of pictures with my teams. I'll probably show those here as well. And watching Splatoon and taking pictures with my teams. The previous night, I had my good friend Slinky sign my leg. And then the next day, it just kind of gave me the idea to have people sign my foot. So I just had people signing my foot the entire, Sunday. Was walking around. I was like, oh, sign my foot. Who wants to sign my foot? Try to get the TOs to sign it. One of the TOs was like, no, God, no. No, I'm not signing your foot. I'll sign anything else but your foot. And then I asked Kraken, and he gave me a very long-winded answer. It sounded like he was on the fence. Maybe next year he'll sign my foot, but not this year. So I got a bunch of people to sign my foot. And because per tradition, since, my good friend Lexi, who's dating Kyo, couldn't be there, I decided I would do something to be, gracious to Kyo. And I decided I was going to have him sign my foot. I got that idea. So I text Lexi. I'm like, hey, yo, first off, I'm going to rub his nipples again if he wins the whole thing. Second off, have him sign my foot. Tell him to sign my foot. She goes, I got you. 1 sec. She texts me back a few minutes later. He said, when you ask, he'll sign your foot. I was like, bet. So he gets done winning winners finals, comes down. There's the fangirls who are, they're all having their posters signed and stuff. And I go, hey, yo, my guy, I'm sure Lexi messaged you. Sign my foot, please. And he goes, okay, bet. And he gets down, and there's a recording. I'll show the recording in a second.
Ain't no way. That's crazy.
But he starts recording, and he's like, what, do I sign anywhere? Like, how much do I get? I was like, the whole foot's yours, King. Because at this point, I only had people signing my right foot. I left my left foot open just for the king, the goat of Splatoon, to sign my foot. And as you'll see here, this, glorious foot. It's probably in the thumbnail too. I probably put my foot next to the gorilla in the Kalahari lobby. So that's probably the thumbnail. You'll see it. But from there on, there was people who posted the picture in the Splatoon LAN server, and they were like, oh, Kyo foot signing. People posted it on Twitter. My foot went semi-viral in the Splatoon community. People were like, bro, Kyo just signed someone's foot. And I'm like, hell yeah, this is it right here. This is me. So I walked around the rest of the event with Kyo's signature on my foot, and then I went to sit back down, and people in other rows were like, did Kyo really sign your foot? I'm like, yeah, look at my foot. Look at it. Yeah, this is my foot. It's signed by the greatest of all time. So that was a pretty good and funny experience. And then, I got to sit around, watch some great and amazing Splatoon. And then after Kyo won again, I went up to him and I'm like, let me rub them nips, King. Let me rub them nips. And I rubbed his nipples, and I'll show that video as well. This is my goat right here. This is the goat of Splatoon, greatest of all time. Undisputed. And I don't know if this is how my face reveal is gonna come out or not, but obviously I walked around the venue without a mask and stuff. I just don't show my face like that. But, one of the cameramen hand over to me rubbing Kyo's nipples, and that was the funniest shit ever. So if I end up in a Riptide documentary or something like that, or they're like promotional material, that's gonna be hilarious. Or another thing that I find funny is that's gonna sit on someone's computer for a while. And I don't know who's going to have a hold of this footage. I don't know what, type of organization, if it's going to go to the Splatoon TOs, if IPL is going to have it, or, if the Kalahari people are going to have it. But I find so much joy that somewhere down the line in the future, if this doesn't get used for some promotional material or something, that someone's going to be clearing out their hard drive from this stuff, and they're gonna be like going through these videos that they need, and they're gonna be like, "What's this?" And like, what cameraman pan to some, dude rubbing Kyo's nipples? Why is this? Why am I watching this? And I know it's going to happen multiple times. They might delete it right away, but I know they're going to go through the footage like, relatively soon to make whatever they're going to make. And I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious when they're trying to cut up whatever they're cutting up for, the future. And they're like, all right, why is this here? Who filmed this? Who filmed this nipple rubbing right here? So Sunday was a glorious day. The only sad part I am upset about is the fact that I ended up missing Ultimate, because Ultimate was actually stacked this year and looked really good, but unfortunately Splatoon ran all day, and that's, my main game, the game I care about the most, and I was too busy watching Splatoon, didn't get to watch anything Ultimate related, but I did get ice cream afterwards. I got some ice cream, and if you like ice cream, I think it's like Lake Erie, it's like the blue ice cream at the ice cream thing, absolutely delicious. They got like brownie chunks with cookie dough in it. It is so good. Get it with like a chocolate dipped cone too. It is peak ice cream. It is so good. But after that, hung around in my friend's room one last time before I said my goodbyes to some people who were leaving in the morning. And then I went off to bed and I slept, and it was peaceful. It was great. This was a very nice Riptide trip. And then I flew home the next day on Monday, and I had this cool thing called weather take effect where we were almost about to land, and then my pilot goes, so we have to stay in the air a lot longer because there's a bunch of storms over the airport. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how that goes. And I proceeded to be stuck in the air for an extra hour when I could have landed and been at home and seen my dogs and probably played some games. But nope, I got home super late, and I'm like, cool. But that was my Riptide 2024. It was fantastic. There was a lot of people, lots of new faces. I wish some people could have came back this year, but they couldn't, unfortunately. This Riptide has been pretty great. I got to take a lot from it for competitive wise, and it has definitely fueled me to just absolutely grind. Literally, while I was there, I messaged my team. Three of my teammates were already there, so I was like, guys, we're doing a tournament Friday. But I messaged the other two who weren't there, and I was like, guys, we're doing a tournament Friday. So I'll be doing all for one this Friday and playing with my team and just honestly trying to raise my div skill level for the most part. Like, I want to climb and grind and actually, feeling very, very motivated. And I think getting 33rd and knocking on the door of top 32 was a lot harder than, losing all my games, because I feel like, losing all your games and stuff is kind of like, oh, well, I just paid, this much money to go O2, but hey, at least got all my friends, and I got a good experience last year, and like losing didn't feel too bad. And also, like, I was like exhausted the whole time, so it's whatever. But this year it just felt different. It hurt a lot more. It was just kind of like, damn, I was right there. Like, I was right there from day 3. So hopefully next year I can make day 3. And it makes me want to go to more lands. I really just want to go to more lands. There's a lot of like locals that people host. And I'm just like, man, if I had the money to just fly to these locals and play, I would. I would do that all the time. But I don't have the money. But maybe we can get there one day. Maybe we can make our bags and just go to every single like local I can possibly go to, and call it a day. But I'm motivated more than ever to grind. Like last year I felt kind of motivated, and I did grind. It took a little bit to, get up there after last year, but I definitely feel like I'm in a lot better position to sit there and grind out this game, and it will be glorious. And I hope to get, some tournament wins this year and actually do something up my div, maybe div 5 plus at some point. But that was my Riptide. If you went to Riptide, how was your Riptide? Tell me about your Riptide. Mine was fantastic. So I will see you all in the next one with more videos and me doing more things. Take care. Peace. I'll see you in the next one. And if you're going to be at Riptide next year, I will see you next year.